Hey, today we're going to be creating a children's swimwear brand, and this brief is by Abby Design and it's within her Creative Glow Challenge. And if you already don't know, my name is Cami. I'm a brand designer / strategist, and here on YouTube I create tons of passion projects and I share my thinking and my process. You can also go follow me on Instagram, that is where I post the most, that's where I share my work as well as some more business related posts.
So this is my mood board as well as the colour palette that I'm thinking to do for this brand, and I'm thinking of like a boho style for this branding. And within my mood board you can see a couple of photography as well as some logo ideas and typography as well as some illustrations. And next I have chosen 4 different fonts that I think could fit quite nicely with this brand, and basically I decided to go with the last one because of how curvy it is but still giving the same sort of vibe that the top 3 have. And the top 3, the reason that I didn't go with that one was because it is quite straight, and when you think of the name The Little Wave, you're expecting something to the typography to be rather curvy, which is why I didn't go with the 3 fonts. So what I really liked in the mood board was the typography for Tangerine. And when I started to get into changing the typography to customize it and personalize it to the brand, I wanted to start with the letter E and give that little bit of a wave inside the E, very similar to what the typography of Tangerine did. And in the W we have this sort of, I'm going to call this a blob that I really liked, and I wanted this to be more a part of this font, so I added that back into the bottom of the E. And next I decided to change the T's up. I thought it could be a fun idea to play about the T's and see what we could do. And I wanted to allow the 2 T's to interact with each other, and the way I wanted to do this was by creating a wavy line that crosses through both of the T's. And I thought this would be like a nice touch because obviously we want to mimic that wave. And one thing that I didn't like about this font was actually the A, and I decided to change up the A myself by looking at different inspirations and different fonts that I could mimic but still create something that is different from the fonts that I was looking at. So I wanted to bring back this waviness inside the A, very similar to the E, as well as bring this blob thing from the W that I did again in the E. And after creating a couple tweaks, I decided to go on to the next logo variation as I was happy with the little wave. So next I decided to go with the logo mark, and for that I wanted to use just the W as well as having the little wave, the words little wave surrounding the W. And my inspiration for this was the other logo / typography in my mood board where they incorporated flowers within their logo. And I wanted to do something similar and incorporate a bit of a wave inside the word wave, as well as adding some more illustrations as we go on. And as you can see, I decided to create a little wave with the little wave. Felt like it needed some more interest, so I created some repetition with the words little wave, and then I gave the effect of the wave. And for the other logo variations where the little wave is stacked on top of each other as well as the logo mark, I decided to add.
And before we continue, please give this a like and a comment if you enjoyed it so far, as well as giving me a follow on Instagram.
A wave inside the word wave. I also decided to create some illustrations as a pattern, and this will be more incorporated inside the logo, so I started with creating the illustrations. And the first illustration that I decided to do was a turtle, and my idea for the illustrations that I was creating was basically I saw this sort of checklist for when you go to the beach and then you give it to your kids to checklist all the things that they saw, and a turtle was one of them, and I incorporated a couple of different illustrations that you can also find at a beach. I also liked the other logo from my mood board where it had a flower, and I felt like it was a very good idea to incorporate a flower inside the illustration too. So with the flower, I decided to do a little gradient coming from the inside to the outside, and I felt like it gave a natural feel for the flower. And next I decided to create a little illustration of a fish as well as some seaweed and coral. After I was done with the illustrations, I created a bit of a pattern with them, which would be able to use on things like tissue paper and packaging. So after I was done with the pattern, I decided to put this pattern inside the logo mark, and to create a bit of interest, I had some things actually inside the W and some things that went outside of the W. And I did a similar thing with one of the logo variations, however I used flowers instead, which were placed on top of the word with. And all of the logo variations and the logo mark have some sort of wave inside them, or actually create a wave, which I think is a nice touch going back to the name, the little wave. And when I was done with the logo marks, finally I placed them all in the different colours that I have created for the colour palette to ensure that everything works quite nicely together, and happily it did. However, one thing that I did change was add an extra colour, which was a dark blue, as the colours that I have chosen didn't really work that well to replace the black font that I had previously, and I wanted something to still be dark enough and to be able to stand out from the colours that I've chosen. And after I was done with the logo marks, I decided to go and create some mock-ups. So obviously I searched for the mock-ups and I placed the patterns that I've created on the mock-ups and the logo. Next, I chosen some photography from Pexels and incorporate either the logo or the illustrations that I've created. So here you can see that I used the little fishes as well as the turtles to create something more custom, as well as place the logo on top of the photography just to add more realism to this brand. And this turned into creating the social media feed, and I've also added some value posts, some templates for that. So here you can see that I used the little turtles again, and the bigger turtle would be where the value text is. And to customize the photography, I also used the flower and then placed the image inside the flower just to create something more personal to this brand and more interesting. And then finally I just did little touch-ups throughout everything, and that was me done. So sit back, relax and see the work that I've done. I hope that you've enjoyed my video, and if you did, please give it a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!